Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Citizen Tech Talk news episode. Guys, today we're going to be kind of tying in two of the most recent episodes in relation to the Dev Talk, as well as the new creatures, Bips and Boids and all of that jazz as well, because there hasn't really been much content since that of What We Shall Not Speak Of has kind of stepped in to put a spanner in the works for us with the Star Citizen schedule release, as well as live episodes. So anyway, guys, I'm CTT, you know me.
And I'm Image Lead the Way.
Welcome to the episode. 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the test on Image Lead the Way. Audio check out.
Alright guys, so let's just get the episode started off. What it is we've avoided the beginning of the episode like we usually would play for you, as there is really nothing that Jared kind of went into to start with. So we thought we just might start on the points of this very short episode, which is the Bips and Boibs and Creatures episode to start with. Just in relation to what was important that we could pull from the actual episode. So let's just start here and we'll go from there.
So, we're here to talk about the non-humanoid life forms that'll populate the Star Citizen universe. Break it down for us. What types are we looking at developing for Star Citizen?
So we break it down into 3 different types. There would be insects, or kind of just VFX that play around trees or things to give it life in that area. Then there would be Boids, which are like small creatures like a frog or a snake or, a rat, whatever we'd kind of consider to be appropriate for our universe. And then
like those floating things we saw at Citizen Con a couple years ago.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just like what we had in Lorville.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Continue.
And then from there would be much bigger creatures, like basically herds or apex predators or sandworms kind of thing.
All the way up to sandworms. Where do we start with? Where are we starting with the non-humanoid life forms? I mean, we saw the sandworm, I guess, during another Citizen Con. But what are we thinking without committing to it right now? But what are we thinking is our first non-humanoid creature we're going to see in Star Citizen?
So we're going to be working on the Space Cow, just to work out the new rig, and so obviously it's a 4-legged creature. So from there, we're just working on a new rig and basically seeing how that will work.
All right, guys. So a Space Cow. Like, okay. My take on this ILW is: wouldn't you start with insects and build up your fauna from there, small to large?
Well, the insects are a different type of creature, so it's not like, as you said, the insects are more of a VFX, and the Space Cow is more of an actual creature requiring physics, where they don't require physics. I'm sure you've seen in other games where you have like bees and you have little grasshoppers. And they kind of have their physics, but it's mostly like not like, it's just, you'll see it moving around the tree and all that, and it'll fly through the tree because it doesn't have any physics on it. But the ones I think what he's saying is the first animal that's actually going to have physics, that's going to walk, that's going to be killable, that you can hit with the ship and it fly up and move, is going to be the Space Cow. I think that's what he means.
Yeah, okay. So basically target practice, slow-moving target practice for people who are still learning how to play the FPS side of the game. I guess that's one point. It's going to be good for farmers. It's going to be good for people who want to collect certain parts of the animal, which we'll go into in a minute. Obviously not going to spoil that for you if you haven't already heard about this. Yeah, I just believe that it would be a best practice, once again, to start small and then go big and bring in those VFX. Make sure they're not affecting any frames per second, your server loading, all of that stuff, on-screen performance with stuff like that first before you worried about physics-based animals. I don't know. I believe that starting small and going big is the smartest way of going about it. And if they're going to bring that in, are they going to overlay that later? And is that going to cause a bunch of problems that might have been avoided if they hadn't done it this way around to start with? What do you reckon?
I actually would think that the person that creates a space cow and the people that creates the insects, I actually think that'd be two different teams because it's two different types of things. One is a fully modeled render, and it has physics, and it has scripting, and it has all of this, and it actually walks, and it moves, and you can interact with it and punch it, and it do that, you know. And the other one is kind of like a VFX with no physics, where you just kind of see it around the tree and see it in the grass. Yeah. And like if you step on the grasshopper, nothing happens because it's a visual effect. It's not actually a real thing. So I think it's actually two different teams. So I think they're good to do both.
Do you think there's going to be dedicated orgs to cow tipping?
Maybe so. I'm sure if they make space cows, I'm sure they'll be cute and put cow tip, and like you go up to interact with it and you push it, and
I reckon that'd be a good way to harvest the things that it comes out of it, right, later on as well. Push them over to harvest them for that, so you don't actually hurt the cow, and you get what you need for your scientific and medical, even food, I guess. And yeah, that way you can avoid hurting the animal. At the same time, you get what you need, and the animal then gets up and runs off. So hey, CIG, cow tipping, let's make that an actual thing, because these are space cows, so it's not inhumane. Okay, this is not a normal cow. This is a space cow with 15 udders. Anyway, let's get more onto the space cows. What do you reckon?
Well, before we get on to that, this whole topic has me wondering if they're kind of going to do like a crime system with killing wildlife, kind of like they have in No Man's Sky, where you can't just go on the planet and just start ganking on the wildlife you see, or else you'll start accruing some type of bounty and stuff like that. So that'd be interesting to see in the future.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good thing. If it's a protected species or a domesticated species, yeah. But what if it's a wild animal, like, an apex predator? Even if it is protected, might there be laws that would kind of extenuate your circumstance by going, well, you weren't getting your leg chopped off by its teeth at the time, and you shot it in the head to save your life? Do you go to jail for that? Or do you get some kind of financial penalty for that? Or do you get both? Or nothing?
No, we just have to see. But let's go ahead and continue.
All right.
And any sort of alignment issues that we might have on the planet, versus IK, so on and so forth. And then also building usables associated with it, so it's drinking, its water holes, or whatever its 24-hour schedule dictates. And then from there, we'll be the next big one would be the space whale that we'll look into.
And we'll get to that in just a second. All right, guys, so I guess it's going to be up to you. Whether you tip cows, you punch cows, like ILW ones do. Each to their own, right? Hey, I'm not judging. Or you want to harvest the animal for its meat, its babies that it carries in a very abnormal Earth way, which we will discuss shortly in the video, which is quite gross, and 15 udders. It's a lot of milk for a lot of little babies. But anyway, let's move on to the space whale discussion. Space whales, from what we've been told so far, actually, ILW, do you want to run with that?
So they were going on about space whales and how you kind of like, which is not going to cover it in the video. When we choose out, we kind of choose the best questions and the best segments. But in this video, they talk about space whales and like how you might see them breach in the service of the gas giant planets, and like talking about a whole tourism industry where you get in with a freaking tour guide, and he's like, if you look to your left, you'll see a space whale breaching the. I don't know how they're going to do that. Like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like a Grand Theft Auto tour guide, like description missions. If you ever did like the Grand Theft Auto sightseeings in that game, kind of like what that sounds like. That kind of sounds like it's not for the sandbox nature of Star Citizen, but I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. But he's about to discuss it right now, and he's going to say something that you need to think about and you need to pay close attention to. We're going to pause it after he says it.
And then we also talked about space whales. Do we have a name for space whales yet? And apparently they're going into game.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing. Yeah, no, we don't have a name for them yet. We're actually still kind of waiting on kind of seeing them, I think, before we kind of dive into it. But yeah, the idea is that they are going to be indigenous to Crusader, and not for like at launch indigenous, but like down the road indigenous. But yeah, that they sort of exist within the clouds in the deep, kind of highly dense parts of the planet, and then but will kind of like basically like breach every so often. So they'll come up to the surface and hopefully get to the point where players can actually kind of see them. And I mean, one of the things we're talking about, and I really hope we can pull it off, because we've been talking about this idea about tour guides, because obviously tourism factors very heavily into Orison. But the idea that there could be basically like whale tours, space whale tours, where they basically go out and kind of like look for breaching space whales. And yeah, and also the idea of basically with a lot of like the sort of harvestable stuff that the PU is starting to implement now with like plants and materials and stuff like that. Part of the fun with these things is also like, aside from coming up with the sort of the name and the history and stuff, is figuring out kind of how we can incorporate them into gameplay. Is there stuff that you can collect off of them? That's what I talked about in the Kazi Grazer. Like, you can harvest their eggs or harvest their skin, stuff like that. But like, are there gameplay opportunities for the space whale? Like, barnacle, getting barnacles off of it, stuff like that, to make it more fun and give players an opportunity to get really up close to these things.
All right, I was afraid you were going for whaling there for a second, and I was like, but no, you're talking about being able to like land on them and maybe scrape collectible stuff off of their surface.
The idea that they're going into like dense parts, and they come up and they brought stuff with them, and that you kind of, it's a race against time to kind of harvest stuff off of them if you can.
No wannabe Ahabs here.
No. Right. It's a very good book though. I haven't read it.
It is. And I was, never mind. I was going to go somewhere else with that. All right. So you mentioned when you see the space whales, we've shown a couple of potential concepts on Inside Star Citizen.
All right. So that's the kind of the meat of the space whale discussion. My only concern is physics. Okay. He wants you to be able to land on the whale. Okay. Landing on a ship or landing on an asteroid isn't a challenge right now, because when you land on the ship is like, let me get it like this. The ship is like this, and then you land on the ship. Or the asteroid is like this, and you land on the asteroid. The whale is doing this. This is the movement and he even did the own movement. He even did the movement. So it's not a flat surface, and the thing's moving. And I just have concerns of the limitations of the engine, of the physics of being able to land on one of these whales when the body is doing this. And he even made the whole motion with his own hand. I have kind of a concern about that. I don't know what they're going to do. All this is conceptual anyway. We missed it. I don't know where we lost in translation in this clip. But earlier he talked about, we're not even going to show it, but he talked about this won't even be in at launch. So the space whales, they won't be in at launch. Or they won't be indigenous to the Crusader system. Something at launch. This is a long way off, because obviously there's a lot of physics limitations for this. This is in the future, and he says it like in there that this is in the future. But physics limitations, I'm concerned. What do you think?
Yeah, so, all right, for one, you can tip or flip a caterpillar on a planet right now. How the goddamn bloody hell are we going to land even a Cutlass Black, or let alone an M50, on a space whale? Hence, in the clouds, we're talking about gas clouds here, so methane clouds, because it all stinks to high heavens to me about anything he just said. Yeah, and the whole thing is, yes, upon release, there'll be space whales. Yeah? Great, fantastic. You'll be able to see them on gas giants here and gas giants there, whatever solar system you're in. Hopefully all of them. But until there is, I believe, and we had a discussion about this, a little bit heated actually, but this is my perspective on it. the tourism side is a thing. We do have the tourism liners and all that type of jazz. We have science, we have exploration, we have medical. We also have farming. And we've also got, all of those kind of different gameplay styles and mechanics that still have not even been looked at in Star Citizen to date. I personally believe, now this is not fact-proof in evidence, this is just an educated guess. Yes, guys, a guess from me for once. And that guess is that there is going to be a mission loop, a little side story, if you are interested, if you're an explorer, if you're someone in medicine, if you're a bounty hunter, picking up the eggs and things like that, for example, taking down a space whale in space. How Jared said, there's not going to be any Ahabs. My ass, there isn't. Right, there are going to be a million people trying to kill these things for all the resources that they have on them. Oh, hello, Jared. Wake up to yourself, mate. This is not politically correct. This is Star Citizen, right? We don't care about the SJWs in our community. Anyway, moving forward, I believe that there is going to be a exploration, a science, a medicine side story where they're going to eventually put in the mission loop where you go to a certain location, you track where they've been, you check out their ion trail or whatever kind of trail they leave behind them when they move from gas giant to gas giant, different solar systems, etc. And you're eventually going to come back to Crusader where they actually are endemic from, where they actually come from. And there's going to be some little kind of storyline there, and you might be able to adopt your own little baby space whale or something like that. I do believe that from what we've heard prior to this as well through the community as well as CIG and the murmurs from CIG most importantly, that if you do attack a space whale through the lore side of things, that it will very aggressively come and get you. And it won't just get you, it'll take out your ship and any other ship it can before you either kill it or obviously your whole fleet's disintegrated into nothing because the space whale smashed it to pieces. If the space whale is with a sibling, a little child, a baby space whale, once again, the female will act very, very aggressively, even if you get too close to her. So how these guys are saying at the same time, you can land on them, but, at the same time, you get near them, they're going to kill you. I think there's no communication still between the different departments. As ILW, you said, mate, you said that the bug department and the fauna department are two different departments, so they're not cross-communicating. I think these guys themselves who are working on the space whales are not listening to what the lore writers are saying, or let alone the physics side of it, as even ILW is saying. So I believe there will be a mission tree. It will come in later. You will get to see glimpses and the tourism side of space whaling to start with. People are going to take pot shots at them and get absolutely owned. Probably end up with some big crime stat, as you said before, mate, or some massive fine, or both, or jail, whatever. We're going to find this out as time comes through. This is all very perspective and conjecture by these guys at the moment. CIG themselves don't even know what they're going to be doing with them. They're cool. They're awesome. I think we all know why we are getting space whales. Sorry for those 1% of you that are whales. But I think it's a little bit of a personal jab at you guys, and I don't really appreciate it myself. I'm only concierge, for Christ's sake, so I couldn't even believe how you guys might have taken that space whale pun and having it turned into a real thing, because why would there be whales in space to start with unless you are backing a massive project and being called whales? Just saying, not trying to get political. ILW, what do you think, mate? What do you think about space whales? What do you think about the space cow with, dropping eggs instead of babies and having 15 teats and looking more like a cross between a reptile and a rhinoceros? Actually, let's get up a picture, because I think earlier on the video here there was actual imagery of the space cow. So just give us a second. Okay, guys, so that's a space cow. I actually think, to be honest with you, space cows don't have teats. I think those are eggs on closer inspection on my second look at the thing, the hideous thing it is. See, it's got, it's like a naked bull, right, with some form of merman gill and Oh, geez, only a mother. I don't think a mother could even have that. But they're eggs. They're not teats, guys. They're actually eggs. So they carry their offspring on their teat area. How they feed them, I'm assuming they're going to feed them like a bird. Yeah, and just puke all over their babies to eat. Who thought of this monstrosity is not even a word to even thinking about. What kind of mammal carries eggs except for a platypus? Just saying. ILW, what do you think of this monstrosity of just this thing?
Oh, well, I mean, they had talked about it being on like Terra and stuff. So why not just put like a real cow on there? Why do we gotta have this? You know, I'm pretty sure cows and chickens and all that still exist. Why do we have to have these creatures that can? I mean, we haven't seen any type of mammal life form or anything that can breathe in space. And, you know, what does the space whale breathe? How does it work? It just doesn't make any sense. Let's just have normal fauna, man. Right. Let's just have that you would believe. Not like you go into an asteroid field and you see a giant worm like freaking floating around between the asteroids. And you're like, dude, what the heck am I looking at? What is this?
Yeah.
There's nothing in science. There's nothing in the known world. There's nothing in space that even looks like that. There's nothing. There's no such thing as a space cow where you go on the freaking moon and this thing's walking around. What is this? If it's on the moon, what does this eat? Right. What does it drink? All right, be real, dude. Like what are you guys on about, man? With your space whale nonsense. Let's just. There's freaking water planets. Put the whale in the water. Let's just go on to the next one. We've
got Hurston. Hurston is like 98% water. Like, come on. But I just want to add in, okay. With only so many years ahead of us in time, do any of you out there think a cow's going to end up looking like that and carrying eggs? Anyway, so let's get on to the next part of the video.
Okay, guys. I'm leading us in this time. This is the PU feature team. They're all at the house. And go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Star Citizen Live, this time featured on the work of the U.S. PU gameplay feature team. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. If this is your first Star Citizen Live, welcome. Star Citizen Live is where we take questions from you guys, the Star Citizen community, and put them directly to our developers over a live stream. As we are in the new work from home era, we are going directly into our developers' homes. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our group. We'll just go around the world here.
All right, so we're not going to have everybody be introduced. It's really irrelevant. They're going to kind of speak, and you'll kind of know what they do. They take 5 minutes. It's too much time. We're going to go jump right into the first point. Let's go.
Alrighty.
Does anybody on the team work on VoIP or VoIP?
I mean, I do. That's mostly one of our other programmers, Ken, on. John's obviously done some work on the UI in game, and one of our other UI team members that's not with us, Mal Kim. So, yeah, that's Why do you ask, Jared? Why?
The question is simply: do you have any? Have there been any updates recently on VoIP or VoIP that you can share?
VoIP is probably coming back around in the near future. There are some issues that have surfaced. I think mostly because of either some core audio changes or the SOC stuff that went in last quarter that we're trying to fix.
I got to say this. This is completely unrelated. I'm going to let him go on, but I would hope in the future they would say, and this is a minor gripe, but it's just kind of looking at his set and he's talking. Did they say, hey guys, in about a few days we're going to have you on for Star Citizen Live. So you're going to be shooting from your house. Please clean up your area and have it presentable and ready to be presented to our 2 million backer audience. It's such a small thing, but I would think you would do that. Like look at clean chair, green screen, all this. He doesn't have to do that, but he could at least get the freaking boxes and the garbage out from behind him and have it at least presentable. Everybody else in here is presentable. Why wasn't this guy given the heads up? When they started the stream, they should have said, hey, hold on a minute, man. We're going to get delayed about 30 minutes. We're showing this to 2 million viewers. Please fix up your room. Come on, man. What are you doing? What do you think?
Right, I totally agree, mate. That's why I'm laughing. So, well, this guy's a developer, okay? Highly intelligent, right? Qualified person. And looks like he lives like a sociopath does. There is simply... And you took the words out of my mouth. Okay, so one thing I noticed, and it really aggravated and detracted from me even looking at him, let alone his headset. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. Anyway, all right. Blankets and duvets on the right-hand side of your screen. In the background, you have shelving of stuff that I guarantee you has a thick film of dust on it. 1995, and what does it say? In-town moves. So when he moved house, he never bothered to finish unpacking. Okay, so he's got I think that's a computer game or a DVD on the table. He's got some other cheap garbage in plastic on a box. He's got plastic bags, boxes, paper. He's got... If that's his PC, guys, if that is his HP PC, his personal rig as a developer, I'm going to fly to America. Damn the thing that we shall not speak about. All right, I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to walk into this guy's front door, and I'm going to slap him. Bitch slap him. Okay, lick my hand and slap him. And go, you are a game developer using a 1999, maybe 2004, pushing it, HP desktop, pre-built, OEM pre-built, and your headset is from the 70s. Your mic sounds fantastic. Yes, your headset looks like you are a Cyberman from Doctor Who. Please, for the love of God, mate, if you're going to be on camera, have a headset that looks half decent, including the guy above. Now, I don't know what brand of headset that is. Guys, if in the audience you know, he has one of those stick-on mics as well, so that mic doesn't come with the headset. The cans on that are bigger than the cans on my head, and I've got a TMAT 7.1 analog full surround version to V2. Mine has speakers in it, like a multitude of speakers, actual neodymium speakers, which do their own thing, and RGB. See, right here, right, okay. What the hell's the go with his headset? It is bonkers big, and unless he's got literally, like, I don't know, a car subwoofer in there, why are they just, oh my God, it's a $25 headset from, Walmart, and it's one of those stick-on microphone, the magnetic ones. At least old mate at the top has a good set, and Jared's stolen some from the office. Really, Jared? You couldn't buy your own headset. You had to steal the headsets from the office. You're pathetic. Okay, moving on. Yes, cleaning. It's kind of point one. Now, guys, in any other video you've seen of me in the past, when I have my set set up behind me, it's set up. There's lighting. It's professional. And I'm just a YouTuber. ILWs, we're just YouTubers. These guys are developers who are earning a stupid amount of money and can't even clean up a single bloody room to go in front of 2 million people or more, the spectators outside of the community, to then just present them with that.
Maybe this is a really a dig at this, but the truth is not many people watch this. Maybe they're going to say, well, maybe people are only going to listen to what we say, kind of rehash through other YouTubers, and they're not actually going to watch this video, so who cares how it looks? Maybe that's kind of what the sentiment is, but it's a small gripe, but, he had to have had time notice to say, hey, dude, in 3 days we're going to be having a Star Citizen Live. You're going to be one of the guys that's going to be in the PU. Please have everything ready, including a presentable presentation. And that's just my whole gripe, man. Just make it presentable. I know you had time in advance. They didn't just call you and say, hey, we're doing a Star Citizen Live right now. You got a webcam and a thing set up? No, they gave the guy notice. So if they give you notice, just square yourself away. It's such a small gripe. Square yourself away. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, and look, that's 15 minutes and the room's clean. Come on. Moving forward. Anyway, here we go.
Was out. So we were actually literally doing playtests and investigating some bugs that we're compiling as of yesterday, and we talked about it today. So it is the intention that we want people to stay in the game, and instead of going to Discord or Slack or one of these other things, we want our social services to be as stable as possible, so that you have no need to go anywhere else, right? It's part of the purpose for redoing the friend system this quarter, right? It's to kind of set us up to move forward and come back to that. Can't say when. Priorities are kind of shifting around right now, so it's hard to say exactly when, but at some point.
Okay. You mentioned the friends list. That's what the next question is about. What improvements, if any, are coming to the group system after the new unified friends list?
Oh man, do I even want to say it? Yeah, my big thing is to try and push that into the front end. I think that's so. One of the goals for the friends efforts this quarter was to allow people to see, create parties, see who's online, easily add people, connect to people, get that two-way handshake, have a unified friends list so we don't have like platform contacts and spectrum contacts, right? We wanted to bring that all under one umbrella and just make it easy for the players to get into the game as easily as possible, right?
So here's the thing that I think is really good, but it's kind of like, okay, why are you reinventing the wheel with it? You kind of want you're making Discord in Star Citizen. You're making Star Citizen Discord, and that's just straight up what they're saying. I don't even know how it works. Like, you're at the same time in voice in the game, talking with somebody in the lobby, not even like in the in-game chat, but like a full-on like Star Citizen. Star Citizen Discord. They even said that's what we're making. It is a good thing to make a Star Citizen Discord. It's so encompassing. It brings everybody in the game. Everything, all the benefits that he's talking about. But just why though? Why not just say, hey man, we'll have limited proximity chat, ship chat, and for anything else you can use third-party software. Why do we have to do it all? And then what about when the servers? There's just so much stuff that could go wrong with doing a system like this, which no game has ever done. You can't name a game which has made their own, like, oh, we're going to have our own version of TeamSpeak in the game, our own version of Discord in the game. Nobody's ever done this. And they don't do that because they say, all right, this already exists. Why do we need to remake it?
Well, you know why? Because it's Star Citizen. They do everything that's never been done before, ILW, because they're insane. That's why. You've got VoIP, you've got VoIP. Yes, great. Proximity speech, proximity audio, overhearing conversations, that's great. But the problem being with Discord being Star Citizen Discord is that at some stage someone's going to work out how to cause drama with that. If you've got your own Discord channel, it's fully locked down, you've got the people in your Discord you're talking to, while VoIPing and VoIPing with them at the same time, however that's going to eventually work properly is great. But if you've got a fleet of 500 people, imagine the Star Citizen internal Discord server just trying to handle just that. All the FOIP and the VoIP, right? Just that, yeah? Let alone another org, and another org, maybe a quadruple armadial battle with, up to 2 million people, which you're saying we're going to have these, thousands and thousands and millions of players eventually, Chris, who isn't with the company anymore, by the way, that, you're going to have all these millions of players on servers, or 1 million players on a server at least, okay? So it's 500,000 again, right? You're going to have 1 million people on that server trying to talk.
Well, it's definitely a technological hurdle. They're going to have to create like TeamSpeak back end for it. They're going to have to create the same functionality in TeamSpeak where you have the different squads and they can all talk to the team leader, and it's all but it's so, because it's a freaking literal war zone, and it's like 500 people, it has to be next level complicated in order to facilitate this in the game. It's just going to be the work that they're going to have to make to do this. And then you got people in the lobby that they're trying to sell, like and then you got people in here trying to coordinate people in the lobby that are just logging into Star Citizen to join the battle, and they're talking and you're coordinating them and moving them into channels and moving them out of channels. It's just next level complicated.
But hang on, they can't even get server meshing or SSOCS, let alone desync sorted. Hey guys, yeah, it's the tortoise and the hare, okay? Stop being the hare. The hare always gets shot, okay? The tortoise doesn't. Step back from your ambitions and your total mental lost your minds in the clouds agenda. Come back down to the ground, as I've said before, ILW's even said before. Let's get grounded and let's do things we can do now, and worry about silly crap like that later on, which no one, I'm sure, in the community really has any onus towards or want of immediately. They just want you to bring out a computer game to start with that we can then build on. And that's a DLC thing. That is a quality of life improvement in about 10 years' time, when once again servers are able to keep up with that kind of real-time load. Guys, you are so far ahead of yourselves. It's becoming a bit of a running joke to all of us backers. Pull your heads in. Take a step back. Learn how to limit this and engage this a lot more. Less of this and a lot more of this. What do you reckon, ILW?
So here's the whole question. Okay, and this is why I have concerns. I'm not saying, oh, this is impossible, but I'm saying this is a good reason to have concerns. Can you name another game which has 500 people in the same voice chat? Even PlanetSide 2 has 48 people, but you also have people in Discord and other things coordinating everything. They're talking about putting them all into one voice chat, into one system like Discord, having 500 people in some crazy convoluted voice chat and doing it all in game so you don't have to use these third-party systems. It's just going to be nuts what they have to do. More complicated than anything that already exists, because nothing has been built to do what they're trying to put 500 players versus 500 players and have an org be able to communicate on all these logistics levels and all these crazy levels, what they have to do in order to make being able to be functional. It's just next level. If you have nothing else to say, we can go ahead and hit the next next clip.
I'll just finish off. I love your positivity, mate, but coming from a technical standpoint, nada. It's just not happening. Anyway, let's move forward. Alrighty, guys. Here we go.
Does the future team plan to allow us to sell cargo from stolen ships?
At black marketplaces, sure. Yeah, it's a matter of ownership, and I don't know. Actually, Spencer, you might be able to speak to the ownership transition and where that change actually happens.
Yeah, I think there's a couple directions that we could take that, and I think there needs to be both design and technical questions. Because there's certainly like some stopgap things you could do, just like, okay, we'll try to check to see, like, you know, what was the last few ships this player was like flying and stuff, and who owns them, and etc. And as I'm sure everyone knows, every time you interact with any screen that involves ships, you only see the list of ships that are in your account that you personally own. And I think the best way forward to get that feature would be adding a system behind the scenes of tracking like player associated vehicles, which we have like a little bit already. Like Rob, I used something a little bit like that for the last prison ship feature we just added. Basically a way of tracking the last vehicle you flew that we know you own, that we know has a quantum travel that you can use to get around and stuff. And so we want to expand on that and have a way of saying, like, here are all the ships that I am somehow associated with right now, and have an interface for like your friends to allow you to be like, this person's associated with my ship right now. Like, it's cool if they fly it, and like maybe sometime in the future, like it's cool if they spawn it from any stop terminal, or they could see it in their cargo list while we're either in the same party or same group, or, you know, some list of features there. So yeah, I think that would be the first step forward, is making this a proper player associated with ship system.
Okay, I'm going to jump in there, mate. One, he's as sick as a dog. Why is he on camera? He obviously has a very sore throat. His microphone is as horrendous as well, but hey, let's just move past his headset. Friends lists, being able to use your mate's ships. Yeah, not something that I'm going to be too keen on doing just to anybody in the org. I'd only kind of allow certain people to do it, but there he's saying, if I'm wrong, ILW, correct me, that anybody in your org who's on your friends list can get access to your personal ships and go fly them when they want.
No, that's definitely not what he's saying. So they're talking about implementing a system permissions. So it's me and you, and I give you permission. I have one box. You can fly the ship. Check that. That gives you ability to sit in the seat or be able to sell the cargo in the ship. Check that box and give you the ability to do that. If I don't check that box, then you can't sell. Then when you go to the terminal, you can't pull up the ship. And then, at the bottom, to be able to customize the ship. That's a box that I could check to give you that ability. If I don't check the box, you can't customize my ship. Another box I could check is ability to spawn the ship and store the ship at a station. And that's what they're talking about. They're talking about a full permission system and all these permissions and all this and how it works to be able to. So, like, for instance, the mining operation. So if I have a mole and I can spawn 2 moles, and then I can put a crew in my mole, and in my other mole will also own, I can put you as the captain of that mole and your crew. We can fly to the planet together, and currently I have to do it. We have to fly to the planet together, fill up both moles at the same time, return to the station together, land it on the pads, and then when I go, I can see your mole and then sell it and then give you your crew your part, and then I can sell it. But if I'm still on the planet and you land my mole, you can't sell it. Only I can. So it's very complicated in what they want to do. That's why I kind of wanted to include this. It's kind of very exciting stuff, but they say it's like, oh, what we want to do. We barely even kind of broke the surface on it, but it is what it is.
Might this be the fledgling foundation of larger ships, like crew-based permission systems? So you have permission to work on the shield system only. You have permission to work on the hyperspace generator only. You have permission to be on the bridge. Aha.
I mean, so all the way down to that level, I'm sure they will have that level where they'll say only, you got to think all of it's operated by terminals.
Yeah.
So as the captain of the ship, you could say the communications terminal is only authorized by private decker, and he's the only one that can authorize and use that terminal other than the captain and the administrative staff. And down in engineering, little private decker who's in communications can't go down to the engineering station and do that. I'm sure they want to have that level of detail. Captain private decker, even though he works on the ship, he can't land the ship and then sell the cargo off the ship. You have to only a second lieutenant Bryce can go off the ship and do that because only he's authorized for that. That level of it, I'm sure that's what they're trying to take it. Yeah, and then of course you can hack it all in, and that's where the piracy and all this, so you can hack these systems. And
I was about to ask that bit, the espionage part. So as an espionage agent, are you going to have a hacking tool? Are you going to have a cloning tool where you might have to kill the NPC or the player who's got access to that station, i.e. the hyperspace generator, to be able to obviously copy their fingerprints or something like that, so you got login, authority that way, and then you can sabotage the hyperspace generator so that the Javelin can't jump out of into hyperspace, for example, and then get obviously boarded and attacked by pirates. Yeah, cool. So this is obviously the gameplay that I'm quite keen on learning a lot about, is the bounty hunting, the espionage, the security, the escort for mining, and obviously cargo for what we're going to be doing. I'm personally interested in the espionage. I'm interested in the security, piracy, the escort, the defense, as well as obviously the mining side of things, because obviously we're going to be needing to make money at some stage, and mining's going to be our bread and butter, and cargo running obviously for that, the minerals, is going to be a high security stakes part of what we do. So what I'm figuring is that for the other side of things, though, espionage, technological espionage especially, that's something that is going to help mining operations find out where the best mining outcrops are. Has it been claimed already? Do you have to challenge the claimant of that plot, the claim, by either diplomatic or aggressive purposes to obviously get that very, very high trilithium, tanium stuff, that's the hot thing selling on the market at the moment. Do you have to take over by diplomatic or aggressive takeover tactics to get there first and then set up to defend? And espionage of all that inside information going through the market and these, people, NPCs selling off information for a price, that's going to, be a big thing in mining as well, is your corporatization side of your operation. So, see how it all comes together. And obviously giving these priorities and these commands opportunities to people to only have access to certain things is all well and good, but how the espionage, how you're going to eliminate espionage, how you're going to need to worry about security, on-site security. So not PMC, okay? They are militants and they are mercenaries. We don't want that. We want dedicated security organisations who specifically focus on base operational and IP, right, organisational IP security. So these are the things I think I want to start thinking about is, yes, this is great and this is going to have to be part of it, especially for any form of living economy, where obviously like in any army, everyone's got a rank and everyone's got authority and access to certain things. But we need to look at the bigger picture now. If these guys are going to start bringing this in, how are pirates going to benefit from this in the short term? I'd say quite massively myself, mate. And I think that's a big concern that we're going to have to worry about with what we're doing to start with as well, being pirated. But anyway, you got anything else to say on that one, or do you want to move on?
No, I mean, I just kind of imagine, for espionage, it's going to be kind of hard. I'm sure that once you kill everybody on the ship, you're probably just going to have to, security breach, hacking into the bridge, thing like that. I'm sure once everybody is dead on the ship, it'd be easy to do that. It's going to be kind of hard to sneak on the ship and kind of do that. Because I think even real-life ships have security officers and digital. They've already talked about digital warfare, that they'll have, a station on the ship that will cover digital warfare and make sure that the ship isn't being compromised from the inside and somebody manning that. But, let's go ahead and hit the next one.
Sure. Alrighty, here we go.
We put in the nav routing to begin with, right?
Right.
To make that easier.
And on the other side of quantum travel, quantum enforcement. Is there ever going to be a way to determine where there is a lot of quantum travel traffic to efficiently place a trap, or is it always just going to be sit at a location and hope for the best?
So that to me is where long-range scanning comes into play, which is something that needs to be worked on moving forward. I certainly would expect that for sure. It's something that I want as a pirate. Is I want to set a trap or see where people are going back and forth. And you kind of saw the beginning of that with the Tony Z's Quanta demo that he did at CitizenCon. We're starting to be able to track where everybody is, where they're going. Are they QTing? Are they just sitting still? So that we can figure out how to present that data to the players, right? Because you're on your local server, so should you be able to see people on other servers? Eventually, that's going to be one big server mesh, right? And we're going to try and get as many people playing together as possible. But there is some.
I just want to interrupt. Sorry, server mesh. Server mesh.
Technical limitations as to how that gets done, but that's certainly we want to be able to show you heat maps maybe on your star map, and here's maybe known pirate areas are kind of in this cloud over here, right, or between these two locations. I would expect something like that at some point. When that is probably further down the road though.
Okay, RW. I heard server meshing. What do you think?
I kind of think that I think they're kind of backing off of server meshing, kind of in the same way that Dual Universe is going to do it, where you kind of look and see all 30,000 players, and they're kind of going. I think which now they're kind of leaning towards. This is from what I gathered. Maybe this isn't right, but from what I gathered, kind of like server instancing, where instead of being in one server that houses all 50 people, if you're on Hurston and the other person is on another on ArcCorp. Okay, if you're on the ice planet, which I can't remember the name, and I'm almost saying Esamir, Planet Side 2. That's not it though.
New Babbage.
But if you're there, if you're on New Babbage, and the other person is on ArcCorp, y'all don't need to be. If y'all have no connection to each other, y'all don't need to be on the same server. And they might just kind of say, okay, he's over here, he's over there. They don't need to interact. We'll just put 50 players that are around New Babbage around this player, and then when he, as long as he doesn't have any ties to anybody, and then when he flies to ArcCorp, it's all going to be very complicated. But they've already talked about doing that kind of anyway in previous things. So I think they may be seeing that server meshing and putting 100,000 people on the same server like EVE Online does isn't doable. But kind of like in and out of server instancing, different instances of the same server, kind of in the same way when you're in World of Warcraft and you're kind of walking through the area and you see all the people behind you kind of disappear and all the people in front of you appear in. Almost like those people no longer even exist, because who cares what they're doing? They're not going to interact with you anymore. Fade them out, fade new people in. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think this brings us back to our earlier point in relation to the internal Star Citizen Discord as well. So, yes, you might be on a different server, but your audio connection, your visual audio connection to your friend is still alive between the servers. So they're going to be audio routing across all servers simultaneously. I think that's going to be, honestly, the first real implementation of server meshing. It's going to be done on an audio basis to start with, to see if it can even be safely and regularly stable and achievable, I think. And then once they realise that's going to be an absolute right to start with, then they're going to go, oh, maybe we can't do server meshing on the visuals. Of course they won't, because you are asking for quantum mechanics of understanding of how to program that stuff. Ouch. I keep saying it, ouch. Server meshing gives my brain pain because of the depth of complexity and engineering required, let alone the horsepower. Which does bring me to an IT update. There is a video card maybe coming out from AMD that in the future, not now, but they are spruiking maybe 2022, 2023 release that may end up having 256 gigabytes of onboard storage and shared memory. So we might actually have hardware that could actually client-side server mesh from the GPU itself, and the CPU obviously helping with the stabilization of servers, audio, and all the other background tasks that's going to be required for the connection to stay up. It might actually, in 2023, might actually be technologically capable, a capable thing from the client side, but I still don't see it as an industry-supported side until at least 2030 at this stage.
Well, I mean, client side is fine. If they have to say, hey, you need this card to be able to play Star Citizen, your new specs, to play the MMO, you have to have the card, and it just is what it is.
Yeah. But it's just to say that hardware on the consumer side is definitely accelerating, where industry is stagnating. And that confuses me a bit, I guess because of Intel's fall from grace, to say it nicely, compared to obviously what's happening with AMD. So it's something, it's definitely a space you want to keep your eye on between NVIDIA and AMD at this stage. Intel, we'll see what happens with their first XE GPU comes out, and see what Roger Kaduri's been able to put together. I don't hold much hope, let's just say that. Okay, so let's move forward to the last part of the video. Unless you got anything else to say, mate?
No, let's go ahead.
Alrighty, here we go.
Here's one that comes up every once in a while. Will you return manual quantum travel without forcing us to use beacons? How are we supposed to explore, Rob?
So I can give you a scenario where you can go and explore that doesn't require that. Like, imagine a day where you can scan at a long range, find anomalies, how far you can go, searching for these anomalies deep into space would depend on your current scanning gear. right? You can find things, those create markers that you can go to, and as you go out in the universe, we're procedurally generating derelicts, asteroids, content, maybe a pirate base, or maybe some nebula mining areas, or it's like I don't think it's necessarily required. I do like the concept of it though, and have for a long time, because I want to point towards something and then kind of go, right? Just go check out what's over there. So I do think there's merit for it. That's a conversation. We are circling back to quantum travel in the near future. I was actually supposed to go out to the UK to discuss how we kind of change this and make it some better quality of life experience, and more interesting for our longer term or longer distance travel experiences in May, but that's not going to happen now. So I'm at home instead, and we'll kind of prioritize some other features instead until we can kind of have those conversations. But it's certainly a topic I'm going to bring up moving forward.
Okay, ILW, lead away.
Okay, so I mean, pretty much he said it. I mean, we don't, I think here's the whole thing. I have a lot of concerns about the procedural generation, because I think, because what we want to do is, like, if you want to travel, like if I'm on ArcCorp and I want to travel to, I can't even remember the snow planet, but I'm very tired right now. And I want to travel to the snow planet, but I want to kind of stop at the asteroid field. I kind of have to like zigzag to this point, zigzag to that point. And I can't just fly or if I want to stop in the asteroid field, because there's like an asteroid belt that you can stop in, that you have to like jump out of quantum to land in, and me and my miners were doing that. I would just like be able to say, hey, on the map, quantum to there, click there, and that's where I go, and that's what he's talking about. And they don't give us the ability to do that, and I don't know why they don't give us the ability to do that. Just give us the ability.
So the reason why, as far as I know, is if you look at NPCs, they are set on a set pathway, and they have to be set to go to, and then turn around and come back on. And this is why AI is having such a hard time, because they're putting everything on rails. And your jump pathways, your quantum leaps, are also stuck on those same rails. And this is something which is not in line with what we've been told by CIG today, being a free form, go anywhere you want to go space sim. No, it is not at this stage. It is on rails, and we are having to go, down this way, down that way, around there, over there, to come back here to go where you want to go. And this is something I think you guys have noticed maybe since 3.1, 3.2, is getting to locations, right? So you bring up your star map, you get your blip up on the screen, you find your diamond, and then, you lock in and you fly towards it. Then, what happens is you've got to then jump again because it's blocked. And this is the problem, because everything is flying on linear pathways around like that, right? Where if you had locked in your coordinates like Star Wars, and you locked them in, and you're coming to the western side of the planet, although your landing bay is on the eastern side of the planet, in Star Wars, your ship would then fly around the circumference from the western circumference of the planet around to the eastern side, and then come into the atmosphere for landing. This is the difference, is that these guys at CIG are telling us it's freeform, and you can explore, and you can do this, and go anywhere you want, whenever you want. Unfortunately, no. It's on rails for the most part, and it gives you the perception of freedom, the perception of going anywhere you want when you want to go there, but not at the same time. So this is something that they really, really, really need to look at. This is a constraint of the CryEngine. This is nothing to do with the lack of skill of programmers or any of that other stuff, or rhetoric or conjecture. It is a constraint of the engine. It has always been an on-rails engine. Look at any game that's come out of CryEngine's engine. It's on rails. It is never open world, and it is never freeform. So guys, we have come down to, I think, the most technical fundamental problem and flaw with this whole entire project at this stage. is we're always going to be on rails. True exploration is just not going to be true exploration anymore. It is going to be on rails with places you can go, or beacons that have been set for you, where it's just like a railroad track. You go down here, and then you split off and you go up that way instead of continuing around on the set path over to that planet. So, like in many other games in past, Sins of a Solar Empire, if you've ever played that, you are set on very set pathways to get from one solar system or one area of the map to the next part to take on enemies or pirates or whatever. It's the same thing with Star Citizen, guys, and if you haven't ever played Sins of a Solar Empire, what I'll just pop up a quick video of gameplay for you now.
It really isn't. Essentially, the formula is this. You need to take over planets in order to get money. The money resources in this game are crystals and metal. They allow, and money, and credits, obviously. So you've got crystal, metal, and credits. How do you get credits? You tax the people on the planet. How do you get metal and crystals? Well, they're on asteroids orbiting the planet. You just set up a refinery on it. And that's it. You will get a constant, once you get one planet, you get a constant flow of money, crystal, metal, and credits coming in. As long as you're mining those things on the asteroids. You use that to buy ships, the money. You use the ships to take over more planets. You get more planets, which gets you even more money, which allows you to build a bigger fleet. The only problem with all this is the enemy's doing exactly the same, and somewhere along the line your planet lines are going to meet, and that's when the wars start.
And as you can see, guys, just from that, that's pretty much what Star Citizen's doing. Obviously a little bit more complicated, but that's effectively what you're getting. So, yeah, the servermeshing, I think, is the least of our concerns. I think the engine is our first and foremost issue, and once again, Unreal Engine 4 and optimised and done properly. End of conversation for me on that point. ILW, how about you?
I think you pretty much summed it up. So they asked a lot of the same questions. Oh my god, dude! It was actually horrible to go through because it was either questions that had already been answered in the same video. Yeah. In the same video. And they're just asking the same question in a different way, or in a previous video. So, I mean, this is kind of what we got. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to take us back to the newsroom, if you don't have anything else.
Nope. Alrighty, guys. Look, thank you so much. I hope you guys really do appreciate the pain we go through to bring you the truth each and every week. Sorry for the hiatus. ILW, you can explain why you've not been available because of life. But for me, it's just been a case of me being a good channel partner and just being patient. But ILW, I'll pass on to you just so you can explain kind of where we're at the moment with videos coming out each week and things like that.
So my work schedule is just hectic. So we can try to get some during the week, maybe not, but we'll try to get them out once a week and probably record every Saturday or Sunday morning for me, U.S. time. For him, it's like Sunday at like 11 p.m. or something right now. It's like 1 a.m. or something really late for him. But yeah, we're trying to keep it at that uploading schedule.
Yeah. And guys, look, we're going to continue just continuing on, but please appreciate that ILW has a huge amount of responsibility that he has to obviously look after in real life first. That includes his own family. So, please appreciate we are getting what content out we can. Though I do have a bit of a short video I'm going to pop up about the green screen upgrade I've done on my green screen, and that's something obviously ILW didn't have part of, so I'll pop that up separately. But we're going to try to just basically just continue on as per usual, just less content per week because one, CIG, what they're bringing out, and two, well, yeah, just the time we have to record. So please bear with us for the interim, and keep on liking our videos. It's hugely appreciated. And for you new subscribers, welcome to the channel. It's so awesome to have you on board. Looking forward to your comments and so on into the future. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. How about you, mate?
That's it for me.
All right, as per usual and as per always, I'm CTT, you know me.
And I am Infantry Lead the Way.
And peace out. Cheers.